force, work and energy. In our daily life, we do many actions. When we move an object, we either pull or push it. In a cricket match, the ball is being pushed by the player with a bat. A horse pulls a wagon to move it. We push the paddles of a cycle to move it. You see that either a pull or a push is required to move an object. A push or pull on an object is called force. A force always does not move an object. For example, if we apply a force on a wall, it does not move. Some examples of push or pull are given. A horse pulling tonga. A woman pulling water from well. A boy pushing wheelchair. Effects of force. We can see many effects of force on an object. The effect of force are as follows. A force can stop a moving object. When a force is applied on an object in opposite direction, it can slow down or stop a moving object. For example, force applied by a player on moving football stops the ball. A force can move a stationary object. When we apply a force on a stationary object, it can move it in the direction of force. For example, a player can move a football by kicking it. A force can change the direction. A moving car changes its direction when a force is applied on its steering wheel so as to turn it. A force can change the shape of an object. A force also can change the shape of an object. For example, when we press a balloon full of air, it changes its shape. When we make bread, the force of our hands changes the shape of dough. Types of force. There are many types of force. Let us know a few of them. Magnetic force. When we bring a magnet near iron nails, the magnet attracts the nails because magnet has a force that attracts the iron nails. The force applied by a magnet on an object is called magnetic force or magnetism. Electrostatic force. Things can be charged by rubbing them. For example, when we comb our dry hair, the comb gets charged and attracts tiny bits of paper. Thus, when things are rubbed with each other, they become charged and a force of attraction is produced. This force is called electrostatic force. Gravity or gravitational force. Everything that you throw up comes down. Ripe fruit always fall on the earth from a tree. We cannot jump beyond a certain height. Do you know why? Our earth exerts a force on every object that attracts objects towards the center of the earth. This force is known as gravity or gravitational force. Force of friction. When you roll a ball over a floor, it gradually slows down and finally stops. In the same way, when you stop pedaling your cycle, it gradually slows down and stops. Why do they stop? This happens because a force acts between the ball and the floor that slows down the ball. This force is called frictional force or force of friction. Thus, a force that slows down the movement of objects across a surface is called force of friction. It is also called force of resistance. Advantages of friction. It helps us to walk. We cannot walk easily on a very smooth surface or wet floor because there is very less friction and we may slip over the floor. Friction between road and tires of automobiles makes their movement possible. We are able to write with our pen because of friction. You often see that we cannot write easily on an oily paper. This is because there is very less friction between our pen and oily paper. Friction also helps to erase pencil marks from the paper by using an eraser. Disadvantages of friction. It hinders the motion of vehicles. Friction produces heat that damages the machines. That is why we use oil in sewing machines, cycles, etc. Friction also damages the tires of vehicles and soles of our shoes. Roughness of a surface affects movements. Group activity based on CCE. Push a heavy object on a rough surface. Then push the same object on a smooth surface, in which condition you apply more force. You observe that on a rough surface you apply more force to move the object, but on a smooth surface you can easily move it. Conclusion. Roughness of a surface affects movement. Work. Look at the picture given below. Ram is reading a book. Leena is taking her food. A little boy is drawing a toy car. Hari is washing clothes. Now, tell who is doing work and who is not doing work. In all the above activities, only the little boy is doing work. Surprised? In science, work is said to be done only when force changes position of an object. In the above activities, little boy is applying force to move the toy car. Car is changing its position, so he is doing work. Thus, work is said to be done only when the applied force causes a change in the position of the object in the direction of the applied force. For example, if you push a table and it moves in the direction of applied force, then work is done. If you push a truck with all the force you have, there is no change in its position. Hence, no work is done. Energy. The ability to do work is called energy. To perform any activity like playing, reading, and sleeping, we need energy. Even machines need energy to work. Types of energy. There are many forms of energy. Some of them are as follows. Heat energy. Energy that we get from heat is called heat energy. This energy is produced by the burning fuels like coal, LPG and kerosene. We use this energy to cook food. Light energy. Energy that we get from light is called light energy. It is produced by bulb, candle, etc. We are able to see with the help of light energy. Kinetic energy. The energy of an object due to its movement is called kinetic energy. A moving bus, moving cycle, running boy, etc. have kinetic energy. Potential energy. The energy stored in a body due to its position is called potential energy. The water stored in a tank has potential energy. Mechanical energy. It is the combination of potential and kinetic energy. A ceiling fan has mechanical energy when it is switched on. Electrical energy. The energy that we get from electric current is called electric energy. It is used to run appliances like television, washing machine, etc. It is generated at power stations and supplied to our homes. Wind energy. Moving air is called wind. It has power to move things. This power is called wind energy. It is used to generate electricity by using a windmill. Solar energy. Energy of the sun is called solar energy. Solar energy is used to cook food in solar cookers, to heat water in solar heaters, etc. It is also used in solar calculators and solar watches. Simple machine. Rahul was going to school with his father in a car. The car got punctured on the way. Rahul saw his father using a screw jack to lift the car and replaced the wheel. He was puzzled and asked his father how a screw jack could lift the car. His father smiled and told him that the screw jack is a simple machine that makes difficult work easy and faster. Thus, a simple machine is a device that makes our work easier and faster. Scissors, knives, tweezers and tongs are some examples of simple machines. Simple machines are grouped as levers, wheel and axle, pulley, wedge, inclined plane and screw, lever. You must have seen that we can easily open the tin cap of a soft drink bottle using a bottle opener. Similarly, we can lift heavy objects using a rod. The bottle opener and the rod are examples of a lever. A simple machine that turns around a fixed point is called a lever. A lever helps us to do more work by applying less force. This makes our work easier. It consists of 3 parts: load, effort, and fulcrum. The object on which work is to be performed is called load, L. The force applied on a lever to lift or move the load is called effort, E. The fixed point on which a lever turns is called fulcrum, F. Classes of levers. There are mainly 3 classes of levers depending on the positions of the load, L, effort, E, and fulcrum, F. First class lever. In the first class levers, fulcrum, F, is in between the load and effort. Some examples of this type of lever are crowbar, seesaw, scissors, and spoon, etc. Second class lever. In the second class levers, load, L, is in between the fulcrum and effort. Some examples of second class are wheelbarrow, nut cutter, bottle cap opener, etc. Third class lever. In third class levers, the effort, E, is in between the fulcrum and load. Some examples of third class levers are forceps, ice tongs, knife, staple machine, etc. Pulley. A pulley is a wheel with a groove in its rim. The rope moves over this groove. Water is drawn from a well using a bucket tied to a long rope. When we lift the bucket of water from the well by pulling the rope vertically upwards, it is a difficult job. But with the help of pulley, we can easily draw water from the well as shown in figure. Inclined plane. A simple machine that has a sloping surface is called an inclined plane. Some examples of inclined plane are a sloping wooden planks, ramps and slides, etc. Screw. A screw looks like a nail with grooves cut into it. It has a winding edge called a thread. The screw can hold things together tightly. A screw jack is an example of a screw. Group activity based on CCE. Take a square sheet of paper. Cut it diagonally to get a right-angled triangle. The longest side of this triangle is an inclined plane. Color this side red. Now, wrap this paper around a pencil as shown in the figure. What do you observe? You find that the red colored line of the paper makes the pencil look like a screw. So, a screw is like an inclined wound plane around a rod. Wheel and axle. This simple machine consists of a wheel and a rod called axle. Wheel and axle rotates together. Screwdriver, car steering and tap. are examples of wheel and axle. Wedge. It is a V-shaped piece, generally made of metal. It has two inclined planes put together to form a sharp edge. An axe, a blade, and knife are examples of wedge. It is used to cut and split things. Compound machines. If we open up a clock, we find several simple machines inside it. Similarly, the cars, aeroplanes, sewing machines also consists of several simple machines. Such machines are called complex machines or compound machines. Machines have made our life simple. We must take care of machines and maintain them properly.